like the fourth time I've done this because I kept forgetting to push the button. I had to put like a little note here. Hey, stupid, push the button. Hello, and welcome to July 1st edition of Making Big News, number 31. And I'm your host, Shampoo VTA. And this is now the third gap I've had this morning trying to make this episode because I kept forgetting to push the stupid button. I'm trying to torch and do this. Okay. Hello, Kool-Aid. Hello, Kool-Aid. Besides, I forgot some other important little things I wanted to show. I know, I like it. It's fun. I like the volume. It's kind of awkward. I need to change this, of course. But I just kind of like this rig. I wouldn't mind fixing the stem and actually kind of cool. It's got a nice volume, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, happy Cannabis Day to our friends up north. Okay, so I'm going to do some ranting in this one because of some events that have been going on in the South that I've been hearing about, and I'm just like livid over especially the way the news is handling it, which I kind of understand, but I don't understand. It's very frustrating. So we have to draw attention to this issue, but first we will get to these other things that are a little more fun and lighthearted. I'm still smoking coffee buds that I got. Now I can't remember which ones. If this was the Vanilla Kush, because I've been sucking on these wonderful dabs so much that I forgot what other buds I got. Oh my gosh, I really am enjoying this. It's like natural meds double beat on focus. I don't know if it's focusing. There we go. I get lots of freezing on my portion when I'm recording in the video area. You okay? No, I don't want to shower. Just come to me. Alright. So it's okay if he's lost. I mean, I can't be his babysitter. And he needs to behave is what's up. That's what's really going on. You can't always have your way. Okay. Come here. Hey, Tiki Bird. Hey, Tiki Bird. You wanna play? You wanna play? You wanna play on my desk? Wanna hang out here? No, you wanna bite my fingers? Oh, monster. Okay. I'm gonna show something that my son did. So give me a second here. My son was so inspired by all the glass blowing that he's seeing going on with pipes and all this kind of stuff that he wanted to take some kind of a glass making class and learn especially how to do all these neat bongs and things like that. But he knows he's got to start out like low. And they don't offer anything like that in this town. But they do offer a class on bead making and occasionally a class that is on ornamentation around Christmas time. So he took the class and it was like $90 and it was like 2 hours and he made these really cool beads. And I just was so impressed and proud of him. I especially am zooming in so you could see them. They look so cool. I especially really like this beautiful galaxy one that he did. It came out very like an agate. I thought that was really cool. Oh, I can zoom out that way. I'm such a yummy. And then he did these twists. You can see the blue and the red and the green, and this clear one with dots and the blue one with dots. So he's going to take a second class because he's really super enjoying it. And since he took this beginner's class, he'll be able to take like an intermediate now. So I'm like all around, and plus I went to say to other moms out there, if you may have a child that's seeing this class work and is interested, a young person in your life, and you're curious, how could you make that happen for them? Well, what we did was we went out and investigated. My husband emailed like a glass maker in Arizona and asked, what, because they were offering classes. I guess they're at one of their places. And he started asking him, well, do you know of anything locally in California? And then he knew of this place here in town somehow, because I think they used to do some things that were like it or whatever. So he's starting to do this glass blowing, and I'm like super proud of him. And I guess he said that all they were using was like a torch and a kiln. Somehow you had to leave the beads in the kiln to overnight, like for a 24-hour period. And then he went to go pick it up the next day. And we had to clean with a pipe cleaner all the little white stuff out of the center of the bead. And he said that was the rod that he put the glass on. And he made the texture once, he said, by rolling the glass on this metal plate that was textured. And so the bead had like these ridges, and it was just I was so impressed with mom. It was like a total mom moment for me. So if you've got a young person or you're interested in doing all this glass blowing, you just want to learn a little bit and dip in, hey, apparently you could take like a craft class probably in your town on how to make these beads. That's a good start. So I thought that was really cool. Okay, now let's get to the news. Yep, this is my starting point. I used the dinosaurs. I went to go see Jurassic World this weekend. I thought it was good. I did enjoy it. I could see they're setting up for like Jurassic Wars, and they're going to have dinosaur armies, and I may scoff at that. I did enjoy it. It was a romp. My husband refused to go. He just has seen too many poor Jurassic Park movies. He was like, no. I don't blame him, man. I didn't go see a Ninja Turtle remake. Okay. California organ transplant. You have to be quiet now. Okay, California organ transplant non-discrimination bill, TIKI, for medical marijuana patients moves forward. MPP blog. Okay, you're going to have to be kind of quiet. This is being quiet now. AB 258 passed with both the California Assembly and the Senate by overwhelming margins, sending the bill to Governor Brown for his signature. The compassionate bill would prohibit hospitals from denying medical marijuana patients organ transplants simply because of their choice of medicine. Hospitals, clinics, and members of the medical community who do not support medical continue reading California organ transplant non-discrimination bill on this other page. Okay, so they're saying to continue to read. But apparently the bill is going to Governor Brown. Another story I read was that a man had actually died. The bird is starting to mate. It's trying to mate. It thinks it's a girl. And now he thinks this is like a jealous bird or something. You're not going to do this right now. We're not going to do this. You got it? And we're not going to do this. Nope. It's like a bird show. Okay. So I wasn't going to read all of that, but I heard a man passed away because he was denied a organ transplant. And from what I understand, the medical pledges do harm to none, not do nothing and sit on your ass and let people die. Tell Senator Feinstein, protect medical marijuana in California. It's been nearly 20 years since California became the first state to legalize medical marijuana. Our laws help protect people suffering from epilepsy, cancer, and AIDS from being arrested. Yet Senator Dianne Feinstein remains 2 decades behind voters in the state. Just recently, Senator Feinstein voted for and spoke in favor of letting the federal government raid, prosecute, and harass patients and providers who are ab- abiding by medical marijuana laws. She was the only Democrat in the Senate to do so. Her no, you don't. Her commitment to continue the assault on medical marijuana, particularly in the state she represents, is shameful. Now he's pissed. We need your help to tell Feinstein to stop betraying the patients and people of California. Dude, seriously, chill out, man. You're so demanding. Sign our petition, and we help hand deliver your signature to Senator Feinstein officials and tell her she should be protecting patients. So you can sign this change.org petition to Dianne Feinstein to tell her to get up off the stick and catch up with the rest of us. Otherwise, wear clown shoes. It's just your choice. And I think part of the reason is because isn't she also on that, like securities board or whatever? And isn't that attached to the military? And wouldn't that mean that our military industrial complex is aren't they kind of subsidized by drug wars all over the world? I mean, aren't we kind of using our equipment and stuff and technology to go enforce drug wars in other countries? So isn't she kind of part of that? I just kind of thought. Might be other reasons, maybe. U.S.-Cuba reached deal to reopen embassies. The United States and Cuba have reached a deal to reopen embassies in Washington and Havana in a major step toward ending decades of Cold War enmity. Oh, I got that word right. Enmity. Manatee or something weird like that. Okay, so I totally think I'm putting Cuba on a bucket list now of places I'd like to go in the world and check out. And I had to have this explained to me as a child. Okay, I'm watching I Love Lucy. Her husband, Ricky, is from Cuba. He's very proud of that. Babalu! He's smoking Cuban cigars. He's talking about his family's ranch. Many of the stage performances are set in the backdrop of his home in Cuba. So he gets to play Babalu, I'm enjoying the crap out of this. I asked my mom about Cuba, and she's like, oh, we don't talk to them anymore. And I'm like, what? And she's trying to explain to me how we're all pissed at Castro because he was like a pawn between two superpowers and he chose one over the other, and now we're mad at him and whatever that was and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, why? Because the Cuban Missile Crisis. And I'm like, okay, that's over. Like, even when I was a kid, that was over. And she's like, yeah, but they're still mad. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. So then I have a child, and I have to explain to my son why this is important, that this should change. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I swear I said the same thing when I was a kid. For whys? For what? They have cool cars and food and those big like Cuban cigars everything once. And it looks like an amazing country and totally nice people and colorful and like filled with things that would be interesting. It used to be the partying place of America. That rich people would go to Cuba and vacation, and there's movies where they fly out to Cuba. What in the? I mean, that's just weird. That's the way government works. It's so weird. Okay. Okay, TD. You can be loud now because mommy's gonna rant. I'm gonna take a deep breath for this. Hit my pipe because this is gonna be frustrating. You can see the headline. African American church in the South, okay, Carolina catches fire, right? An African American church in the South, in South Carolina, that I don't even want to fucking read it. It pisses me off so much. That was burned down by the Ku Klux Klan 20 years ago, caught fire on Tuesday, the local Post-Courier newspaper reported. Okay, and like the FBI was investigating the fire. Well, I'm like, catches fire. And I wrote this, I just like went into it because I happen to know that right down here, the Young Turks went into how there's been like 5 fires since that church, I'm sorry, the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church. I don't even remember my own church's name, sorry. It's like Trinity Lutheran something, our Father, Son in heaven, whatever it is. Okay. Um, anyway, and I love Christians, I really do. I get a lot from that religion. But seriously, we gotta end with all this comical stuff. Okay, so like, I happen to know that like 5 churches have caught fire since that attack. And these are clearly copycat attacks. And there is clearly an illness going on in the South. And that the community in the South needs to grow a pair and address this. Because this is unforgivable. Remember when everybody was like discussing abortion, and then some tard started going and blowing up abortion clinics? That made abortion untouchable. I mean, little ladies were the only ones that could really get away with protesting outside of abortion clinics after that. Because if you were young and nutty and chanting, people were thinking that guy could be dangerous. We better follow him. He could have a bomb. You know, this is what you're doing to yourselves in the South. Now, if you want the FBI up your rear end from now to infinity, and probably have your own television show all about chasing down members of racist groups in the South, you better get this under control. Fix your communities, heal this illness, this mental illness that is obviously going on. That is a mental illness. So I have to go up here because the news is irritatingly. He's all upset. He sees Dad come out of the shower. The news is irritatingly, like Reuters did down below, started to go, oh, like, ooh, one fire. Were there others? You know, like they're trying to lead in, like, oh, there was a fire. You could find it, right? So Twitter users asked, who is burning Black church, right? Several predominant Black churches in the South have burned in recent days. Officials have attributed at least 3 of the fires to arson. People on Twitter are talking about the church fires with the hashtag, who is burning Black churches? Yeah, I want to know this too. And I don't believe that this is unrelated. This is mathematically not reasonable. That suddenly what? Black churches spontaneously combust. 3 of them have been found to be arson. I suspect the other 3 were probably not bad wiring. Okay. This needs to knock the F off right now. I don't care what your major malfunction is down in the South. I don't care how inbred, bumpkin, whatever it is that your problem is. You step the fuck off. Okay? I don't care about the sky god. I'm not interested. I love the sky god. But I'm not interested in the sky god. And apparently you're not afraid of the sky god either. You know, whoever this. You don't fear any of his wrath either. You know, so don't come to me like you're a Christian. Either that or you're crazy enough to think the sky god's for this. Even though his emblem is on the front of the church. This needs to end. This illness needs to end. You need to take an aggressive stand against this in the South and grow a pair. That's what I got to say about this. My family was racist too. My grandparents were very racist. They said things that shocked me. I ignored it. I am not racist. I am not them. Neither are most of you. You need to stand up, grow a pair. Grr. Crowd counts down to legalize. Oh, I need to go back. I'm sorry. I need to go back. I apologize. I skipped. I think I skipped. Yes, I did. I skipped. Okay. Oh, the church changes. Oh. So I wanted to go from the church thing into happy. Happy still happy. Oh, God. Dude, first off, you don't believe in the sky god, you're burning his palace or his temple or whatever the hell it is. So don't come off to me like you're some kind of Christian. You're just a terrorist. Okay? Number 2 is this is what you have to do with your time. This is your effort. Thanks. What do you do, bro? I'm not impressed. Why didn't you do something positive? Do some. Stop burning it. Crippled lame-o. Oh my God, who does that? Except in Neanderthal. Go back to the primitive backwoods cave you came from. Just crawl back to the mud. That's what I got to say. Oh, ugh, racism. Why? It just pisses me off. It's just ridiculous. Okay, so into the happy. So the happy is that I didn't even take a hit. That was so stressful. So stressful. I mean, seriously, that is like we had a whole war and shit. How can you even be clinging to that? What are you, a complete dipwad? Rein it in. Center my power. All right. Achieve my G. Center my chakras. Okay. So, SOUNDRONE released this video. This kind of happened in a 4-video set. Here's what happened. Jane Doe came out with a video, and she was showing off a piece that she got that was very much like this beautiful crab piece that you hopefully can see. Yes, you can. Right there. And she got that one, and that one's worth about $500, I think. And it lights up. It's got LEDs in it and stuff. And they both received a pendant. And both of these bongs have this very innovative, what they call a stitched percolator. Well, really what it comes off as, I mean, all of us were like glued to the screen because I projected up on the TV with this, how you can do this Google Cast thing where you can cast it onto your PS3 and then it shows on your TV. So we can watch all of YouTube now on our TV, and that's our television for the evening. We've replaced television with YouTube shows. Sorry, television, you lose. I'm sick of your fucking commercials. Your shows are stupid. They don't interest me. You don't swear. You don't do anything interesting. You cater and pander to every idiot, flipping, what do you call it? A special interest group and stupid advertiser. And I'm done with you. Get out of my face. You're a waste of my time. I hate you. You know. So we watch this, and we watch Hulu. So we do watch some of the shows, but seriously, we're like watching old shows and stuff before the writer's strike, and you destroyed Hollywood. Okay, back to what I was talking about. So these bongs have this really unique percolator that is just like a fish tank's percolator and literally turned the water like champagne. It was so amazing. And so all of us were like, wow, watching this video. And then he talked about who actually is the head glass blower. This guy used to work as a lamp wick maker at Disneyland. Now, many of you older folks may know lamp wick from your grandmothers dragging you to the county fair or Disneyland or Knott's Berry Farm to go watch a guy. There were 2 things they would sell. They had a lot of weird things back then. I tried to talk about this in my previous videos. They used to make horseshoes at Magic Mountain. Why? What does Magic Mountain have to do with horseshoes? But they had like a whole Western section. You entered it, and there were stands. I mean, I'm there in my memory. There were stands with like these little fruit drinks that were shaped like fruits, oranges, and little grapes and stuff. And you walk around with these ridiculous little icy, juicy drinks, and ice cream sandwich stands, little carts, right? And you walk up a path, and then there was like a cowboy area, and there was a guy making horseshoes, and you could get old-fashioned pictures and other kinds of things they had in other parks that were similar. Like, why is this here? Yeah, were like glasses where they carved ships into these glasses with a grinder, and lampwick. And lampwick was little tiny sad little animal figures that, you know, my grandparents and grandmother just thought were amazing. And they would have a guy in a glass booth, and he would be sitting there with a torch and the stuff, and he'd be making these little, like a poodle. He'd be making a tiny poodle or a little penguin or something. And I'm standing there like, oh, I so don't want to be here. Why am I here? This is so okay, Grandma. Grandma's gonna buy something. Okay, yeah, okay. A dog, great. Whatever it is. It was an angel. It was something, an ornament for her tree, but it was the exact same thing. The little ornament was the exact same stitching that they do on the ends of these diffusers. And the lamp wick is actually exactly what this crab creature is made of. And they have a ton of others that are like dolphins and crabs and all this kind of stuff. So Jane Drow and SOUNDRONE came out with, look at that signature line. They came out with videos to show off the products that OTG Glass had sent them. And that was amazing. Those videos were amazing. I mean, seeing the little pendy and stuff, and I like how they have little sidecars to put your, you know, whatever it is, hold the pieces if you're not using that for your rig right at that moment. I thought that was really cool too. And that this is a firm, the glass blower, the main glass blower here, used to work for Disney making this lamp set. Is like, wow, that is really cool. And I wanted to touch on, this is not the first time that Disney has come into contact with drugs. After all, Disney and the Tiki Room actually represent Polynesian pop. And Polynesian pop was part of an alcohol culture that came about after the war with Trader Vic's and Trader Sam's and all these different sort of, it was not really representational of the life of Polynesians. It was a fantasy world, and anything could apply in that fantasy world. And Oceanic Arts down in Los Angeles provides some of the pieces that are in the Tiki Room or in that Adventureland area, and you can go there and buy items from them, like tikis and crafts and lights and stuff like that. They have some amazing lamps that are just like, wow. You know, I bought the pufferfish lamp there, and that's really cool. It lights up red. It's a little pricey, but this is not the first time that Disney has touched upon a drug, you know, area. As a matter of fact, they have a new bar that's called Trader Sam's, I think, and it's in the Disney Hotel, and it's a bar, and you can get signature Disney drinks in really super nice tiki mugs, and when you order them, it's like some event happens in the room, like a ship sinks or a volcano goes off or something like that, because that's the drink that you ordered. And of course, you get to keep the signature tiki mug. And I got a bunch of tiki mugs in the back that I collected. The bongs are the same exact type of thing. You know, one day, Disney, Las Vegas, places like this are going to have, you're going to be sitting at a slot machine in Vegas, a lady's going to come up and go, would you like a dab? And you'll be like, yes, thank you. And you'll be there, you know, doing all this stuff, and she's giving you the dab. You'll see her coming. And you'll be like, oh, over here, over here. It's like a bright, beautiful future. So that's the first part. Was what an interesting connection. And what a neat glass company, and what cool videos for SOUNDRONE and Jane Drow to do, you know, to show off these things that they received. But then, what happened was, I guess, during this time that he and Jane Drow were receiving these items and making these videos, his video that he had done previously called Hummingbird Second Chance blew up and went viral. And this is exciting news for the stoner community, because of all the stoners I've seen, not to disparage anybody, but of all the stoners I've seen on YouTube, SOUNDRONE is an excellent example for our community. And he was saying it would be so cool if like Ellen showed this on a show, and he's like, yeah, but I'm a stoner. I'm all, no, that is exactly who you are called upon. See, the hummingbird is a sign. Do you understand? Perhaps you will rise to that, and you will represent us in the best light possible, because you're a nice guy. You're very fun. Your videos are cool, and your videos about good things like showing people how to build something on a common man's budget. Okay. Because his other channel, SOUNDRONE, is all about his website, what is it called, Rural Warehouse, and I haven't bought anything from there. And the other one where he sells all the pieces and connections and stuff, so you can make your own bonds, which I don't know. I'll find the links and I'll put them in. But anyway, so he's helping people to be able to do something that a common man could afford. If you don't have access to a place to get a smoking device that's relatively safe, if you can't afford to buy some nice piece, or you don't have the money for that, you live in another country where all these things are just denied to you, please do not go out to the car and start ripping off hoses and stuff and making yourself please don't do that. Please look at SOUNDRONE's videos, get yourself a good tile cutting bit, and get yourself some glass bottles, because this will drill the easiest. It makes a totally fine bong. There's nothing wrong with that. Now I say common man because there's another guy I follow, which I will not link to, Dave Canterbury, and he does wilderness outfitters. He's a survival guy. And he used to be on Dual Survival, and I followed him before he got on Discovery. Never go to Discovery Channel. They will rip you to pieces. That is a terrible place for YouTubers to go. They just eat people at Discovery Channel and spit you out. Do not go to Discovery. Anyway, he would got in an argument with this other guy who's a sort of conservative survivalist guy, who I really like his shows too. His name's Nut and Fancy. I don't like his political opinion, but a lot of his hiking videos are really cool. Okay. Anyway, he and Nut and Fancy got into it because kind of by not talking to each other but doing opposing videos. And Nut and Fancy showing off very expensive weapons and collector knives. He has an extensive collection, and he has a very good job working for. Yes, he flies for the military, and refuels other planes. He flies one of those fueling planes, I think. He is a conservative, and most people that would watch this would not like his politics. But he kind of shows off this really expensive stuff, and then Dave Canterbury is like, well, I can't afford that. Most people can't afford that. Most people cannot afford to have all that stuff. We have to come up with the survivalism stuff on a budget. As a matter of fact, Primitive Man used to do this on a way low budget, So there's a high end, the low end. And the nice thing about SOUNDRONE's videos, it's got that same common man philosophy. That here's a way to do something that's really nice, that you can be proud of, that you can even make better if you wanted to, and change, or improve upon, that's yours, it's unique, and it doesn't cost that much money. And this is perfectly fine, just as much as this one. These are fine, both of them. Wonderful, So until you can get the super nice, or get the present, or whatever you want to bond, safe, you can be proud of, you don't mind, isn't made from car parts, his videos are great. So the idea of his video going viral and it being pushed up, to me, that's perfect. He's got the right philosophy, he's the right kind of stoner, he's the right stoner for the right time, I think that Hummingbird was more than a hummingbird, you know what I mean? It was your spirit animal. That's what I think SOUNDRONE. Anyway, so try to go see the Hummingbird second chance video. I'll repost it. I will also post his 1 million views where he's so excited he went viral. He's been trying for almost 10 years to go viral. I think it's weird to get excited about that. I get shy. It's like, oh, people are actually watching us? Why, don't they have real lives? Why? You can probably do this so much better than me, Okay, now on to the next story. Now that we've done all that, let's check our time, see how I'm doing. 35 minutes. Okay, I need to crank through this. Let's crank through this. This is a good story. Remember recently I read about the raids in Humboldt, and some of those members, some of the people that were raided were actually part of this coalition of growers that is trying to come into line with the way things are going to be in California after legalization. They realize they cannot go into our streams and wetlands or our national forests and deprive sensitive areas of water, and they're going to have to come into compliance. But before they can make this announcement, and they've been working on this for a year, of course, here comes the helicopters and the police to come raid all these properties. I don't know what that was supposed to mean, but here's what I think was really the gist of all of that nonsense. A great victory. California Cannabis Voice Humboldt unveils land use ordinance. This afternoon, with an impassioned presentation outside the Humboldt County Courthouse, leaders of the political action group California Cannabis Voice Humboldt, CCVH, unveiled a proposed land use ordinance aimed at regulating marijuana cultivation throughout the county's unincorporated areas. With supporters gathered around a portable lectern and a team of organizers behind him, CCVH Executive Director Richard Marks put the event into a historical context. This is a very exciting day for us, he said, but not just for us, for small farmers and for all of Humboldt County. This is a day when Humboldt County takes a huge step into the future, not a future predetermined by outsiders, not a future given to us, not a future we just happened upon. No, a future we are making ourselves and by ourselves. Okay, now the important thing about this is they gave very impassioned speeches. But what's really important about this move is that this would legally give them the right to grow in any unincorporated areas that you can grow any other plant that is allowed, that is licensed to grow in that area. Grapes or trees or flowers. So it would pretty much give people in Humboldt the ability to grow anywhere that they please, as long as it wasn't damaging any lands and stuff. So it actually protects other growers' rights as well, not just the growers of marijuana. The ordinance would add cannabis cultivation to the county's code's definition of general agriculture, and since general agriculture is principally permitted on land zoned for timber production (TPZ), cannabis farms would also be allowed on such lands, without having to obtain a separate permit, as long as the grow doesn't have a canopy larger than 6,000 square feet. Here are some of the details. Anyone in the county with a parcel of 5 acres or more and who's not a resident of the incorporated city could grow a crop of personal use up to 600 square feet in canopy size without having to get a zoning approval. For crops larger than 600 feet but smaller than 6,000 feet, property owners would be granted a ministerial, aka over-the-counter permit. As long as they also pursue the appropriate permits with state regulatory agencies. In other words, they don't have to wait for approval from the regulatory agency. They're going to get like this mini approval just off the bat and not be blocked. To start a grow of more than 6,000 square feet, but less than 10,000 square feet in a canopy size, growers would need to get a conditional use permit. Curiously, landowners with established grows this size would not have to get this permit when the ordinance took effect, again, so long as the property owners were pursuing the property state permits. So they're going to be, I guess, turning this over. It's going to be a ballot initiative, and they're hoping that they're not going to have to wait till the June's primary election. That the group leader says he's hoping that the board will adopt the initiative directly rather than sending it to the ballot for the next June's primary election. So they have confidence that many growers in the area are supporting them, and they have a unified front. This probably explains why all the news about all these raids and stuff, they're trying to obfuscate the fact that this was happening. And especially if it's going to be in the forestry areas. I mean, haha. Ha 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 ha. That's very good. But not damaging any of our wildlife. That is important. Girl Scouts return 100,000 to anti-transgender donor. Like, this is just, what is up with all this bigotry? It's so lame. It's like, what are we talking about, South, huh? You're probably against this too. Like, pull yourself out of Stonehenge. Let's go. We're going to Mars. Can't go there worrying about this. Burning churches. Oh my god. Who wastes time doing that? I'm glad you're not on my side. Ugh. Stupid old-fashioned backwoods thinking. Girl Scouts return 100,000 to anti-transgender donor. We won't exclude any girl. A Girl Scouts chapter in Western Washington recently stood up for LGBT rights by returning a whopping 100,000 to a donor who was transphobic. The hefty donation came with a note from the donor that reads, "Please guarantee that our gift will not be used to support transgender girls. If you can't, please return the money." You know, the Girl Scouts are very nice and sweet, but I would wipe my ass with their money and return it. Here you go. I had to use it first. Instead of using the money to help 500 girls join Girl Scouts, the chapter took a stand and returned the money and is now asking you to help them raise the money. The group shared a video detailing their inspirational story. So basically, they rejected this money, but they still need it so they can recruit girls for the Girl Scouts. And, you know, I loved freaking Girl Scouts. I think I was even in Bluebirds, and there was something else I was in. Campfire Girls in the 70s. I was in Campfire Girls. That was my first girl club that I was in. And Campfire Girls was really cool because it was all inclusive, because racism was such a big deal in the 70s, and Campfire Girls went out of their way to include people from all races, you know. So that was the point of Campfire Girls. The Campfire Girls, I think, is older than Girl Scouts. But I was a Campfire Girl first, and then I think I was a Girl Scout for a while. I know my sister might have been a Bluebird. I can't remember if I was a Bluebird. Anyway, we were all in that stuff. It's wonderful. They need money, and more girls need to join organizations like this, and more organizations like this need to send girls to do real things and not just arts and crafts and stuff. You know, like rock climbing and learning how to use tools and survival and cool stuff, you know. The church story, just, ugh. It's like hate, anger, hate, evil. Ugh. Ugh. Poor people, you know. And at the same time, the members of the church in South Carolina that was attacked are burying those people. And those stories are going on. Nobody's covering that. These guys are kind of scum, you know. And even these organizations not covering it, kind of scum, kind of scum. Crowds count down to legalization of marijuana in Oregon, then light up. Portland, Oregon. Crowds count down the minutes to midnight, then light up joints as smoking marijuana becomes legal in Oregon on Wednesday. Part of a growing legalization movement spreading down the United States West Coast. What, like the clap? Why do they say spreading down? Yahoo News. Yeah, it sounds like a disease. It's spreading. Why do you say it that way? Okay. Hundreds gathered on the Burnside Bridge in downtown Portland and smoked under the glow of a neon city sign, marking the moment that the law allowing recreational use backed by voters in November came into effect. The legislation opened the way for shops to sell marijuana by next year, though some lawmakers say they will still try to block retail outlets. So they are celebrating legalization. We got another state under our belt that has legalization and a ton that have medical marijuana. And still we're getting nonsense from prohibitionists. I mean, dude, it's like the hand has written and moved on. The writing finger has wrote and moved on. Son, you have been weighed. You have been measured. Medical marijuana is now legal in Minnesota. Minnesota patients legally acquire marijuana for the first time. At the stroke of midnight, medical marijuana was legal in Minnesota. Moments later, the state's first cannabis clinic welcomed its first patients. We've been waiting a long time for this, said Kim Keasley, holding up a small white pill bottle containing a week's supply of cannabis pills outside the Minnesota Medical Solutions Clinic in downtown Minnesota. Opened its doors just after midnight, after one for after something one for a handful of clinics. Okay, like Keasley, who didn't want to wait even a few more hours to start treatment. We decided we weren't going to make them an extra 9 hours, said uh, Med CEO Dr. Cale Kingsley. It's really an hour to serve the first 3 patients in Minnesota. In a few hours, when her 24-year-old son Alec woke, Keasley planned to give him his first dose of medication. Then wait again to see if the treatment she and others fought for years to legalize will do anything to help his epilepsy. Somehow I have a feeling probably they already know that. Would you think that maybe if you're pushing for it that long, your child has tried that medication and you can't admit that because of some ridiculous Minnesota law? Might be what's actually happening. I'm just guessing. Just guess. Anyway, exciting news for Minnesota and Minnesota's patients. I hope that you have access to more than just ridiculous pills, for other patients, but certainly for your child. It's wonderful that they are able to access marijuana oils. Oh, and yes, it is oils. Yeah, I was concerned it was going to be like a ground of ridiculous pill. It needs to be the cannabidiol and stuff. The oils. That's what I'm doubting on, the oils. Okay. Florida, 5 county to give citation for pot possession. Judge blocks abortion waiting period. Okay, so it looks like Dade County has has reduced the penalties for marijuana possession. It's now down to $200. I'm sure they're still going to harass and use these the $100, but they tried that in California. They tried that in my area. I talked to some police. They were so excited. We can at least get them for the paraphernalia. It's $200 for the paraphernalia. So it's actually $300. And then he was like trying to justify. Oh, but no. I'm like, dude, you lost. I mean, I'm not saying it to him because I'm in the workspace and everything. I'm like, dude, you lost. He's like, oh, but we can get for paraphernalia. It's $200 for paraphernalia. $300 would be, give me a break. It doesn't go on my record. It's pathetic. I'd probably throw it out. like they gotta make a case. You know, they're trying to string stuff together because they're trying to bring bad people off the street. You know? So I figure this is a way to do that. It makes it easier for them. They're chagrined that they have to actually like think. You know? It's so much easier when you can just feel like the redcoats and break into everybody's home and do whatever the hell you want and shoot the dog. It's so much easier. Okay, so we're going to go into this next story, which is my last story, which relates to the baking of cookies. I just baked some cookies now. Shall we bake some more? You know, it's wake and bake time. And according to Rush Limbaugh, that means cookies and brownies must be made. Oh, you're gonna love this one. Rush, I got things to say to you. I got salvation for ya. Rush Limbaugh tries to understand the concepts of wake and bake and fails. The conservative commentator also cites a recent analysis on medical pot and effectively admits he didn't read the study. Okay. Rush Limbaugh thinks he knows what it means to wake and bake, and in his mind it involves someone who does the weed, waking up in the morning and baking marijuana-infused cookies or brownies, or something like that. So let's bake our cookies now. I'm getting the dough ready. Okay, the cookies are in the oven. The pilot light's on. Let's start baking. Ding, they're done. Oh, this is good. From his website's transcript of his show Monday, where he was talking about the anti-legalization legalization, but pro states' rights comments about by Republican presidential candidate. Okay, so he's talking about what Carly Fiorina said about legalization because she went down to Denver. She's not the only one. Rand Paul is apparently planning or has gone down to Denver to court some of the marijuana vote because Colorado is kind of one of those states that you want to get a hold of when you're running for president or you're trying to at least get the nomination for your party. Okay. From his website's transcript of his show on Monday, where he was talking about the anti-legalization but pro-states rights comments made by Republican presidential candidate Carly Fiorina, or whatever her name is, while she was in Denver for the Western Conservative Summit. I don't have any experience with this, so I'm unable to render an opinion. But he will anyway. Maybe I should go smoke some and find out what this is all about and be able to render an interruption. Yeah, eat a brownie. That's what wake and bake means, right? Yeah, there's an NFL player who bakes and somebody said, wow, that guy does the weed. So that's what wake and bake means. Bake some cookies or brownies, I guess. Have you had them? Interruption. What do they taste like? Interruption. I do wonder what they taste like. What the hell is an interruption about? Of course, Limbaugh's a bit off in his wake and bake interpretation, but he's really off in his complete dismissal of medical marijuana, which he misattributes to a recent analysis that saw a lot of press last week. Let's start with this. I don't have any experience with this, so I'm unable to render an opinion. Limbaugh said in the above quote, this being medical marijuana. Right before he said the sentence, he rendered this opinion on medical pot. Because, folks, It's politically incorrect to say that marijuana might have health risks because right now the politically correct thing to say about marijuana is that it's a great boon for people who are sick. Medical marijuana is absolutely wonderful, even though there's a recent study uh, that says makes no difference in anything, but they think it is marijuana is really cool and it's safer and it's not heroin or cocaine and it's a crop. It comes from the ground and it's cool. And some of our favorite musicians did their best work while under the influence. So it's cool stuff. Who is the fuck he's talking to like this? Like Bill and Ted? I mean, it's hardly anything I can even rationalize as a sentence. Okay. And I have really poor grammar, which I enjoy. I like my poor grammar. So he doesn't have an opinion on medical marijuana because he doesn't have any experience with it yet. He does have an opinion on medical cannabis. That opinion being that it makes no difference in anything, something he attributes to a recent study. The study, or analysis, he refers to is this one published in the Journal of American Medical Association last week. The analysis, which looked at 79 existing trials involving nearly 6,500 patients, showed that medical pot has been proven to legitimately help patients with severe pain, nausea, and vomiting related to chemotherapy and spasticity from multiple sclerosis. But when it comes to the numerous other qualifying conditions that make up most medical marijuana programs, which vary tremendously from state to state, that often include PTSD, glaucoma, arthritis, and Parkinson's disease, and asthma. Okay, and they've done research in Israel on these things, and nobody brings that up. What is with that? Oh, Israel. Yeah, they're a thing. Yeah. Oh, do they do scientific research? Pshaw. What is that about? What is that about where we just don't talk about any of the research in Israel? Except the only guy, Sanjay Gupta. What is that about? Okay, blah. PTSD, glaucoma, arthritis, and Parkinson's disease, and asthma. The reports say the evidence isn't there. That's your fault because you blocked it in our government for so long, so I have to use a stupid inhaler and so do a bunch of little kids. So even though Limbaugh cities, uh, besides the analysis, he clearly didn't read JAMA's abstract on the many articles on his findings. That didn't stop him from wagging his finger at those who disagree with his rhetoric, facts are facts. This came to a head later when a caller, Thomas, from Danbury, Connecticut, called Limbaugh to tell him about his experience with medical marijuana. He has a long history of major spine problems. He's been taking narcotics for 20 years and Lycra, which is devastating, for 12. You can never think straight, Thomas said of Lycra's effects. It's impossible to wake up in the morning. I spoke with my pain physician, and we have medical marijuana here in Connecticut, and he thought that it was a good idea that I give it a try. And what I've done is I'm taking almost no oxycodone, something that Rush knows very well, anymore, and I slashed my Lycra, and what I find is I can think clear, I can wake up in the morning, and the pain is dramatically reduced. Never gone, but it's substantially reduced, even though I'm taking less of the other medications. Limbaugh's initial response, now, don't take this personally. Is that really true? Spine pain? Look, I've heard it. I've had it. You say that marijuana did better than the narcotics, oxycodone, they had on you? I've never heard anybody make that claim. But pain relief from marijuana, yeah, huh, funny. The guy that was addicted, I believe, to oxycodone has never heard about marijuana's miracle helping of the back pain. Gee, who would have thunk that? Even Republicans and conservatives pick the wrong drugs. They even choose the wrong drugs. It's like, which ones will certainly kill me and make me an addict? Oh, I know. That's the one I'm going to go with. That's the one I'm going to legalize. That's crazy. Sorry. And then look down my nose at you. So this was really super funny read. I won't read it all, but I will link to it about Rush Limbaugh. And we're all baking cookies. When we wake and bake, it's cookie time. I'm gonna, I swear, that's what I'm gonna freaking put. Baking cookies. Is that, what is it called? The thing when you look at my video. I don't know what that's called, but I'm definitely gonna do that. Okay, so at some point, this thing is going to be happy again. Oh, there we are. We're showing like the blue screen all the way through or something. Okay, so that is my show, Wake and Bake, for this Wednesday, and you have a great Wednesday. And we're almost to the weekend, and 4th of July, and that'll be really fun. So you guys have a really good time and try to do something with your families and do something healthy for yourself. And you stay high and goodbye.